Hello and welcome to Crypto Waffle. This is a short video where we're going to discuss why we waffle. I am Cryptosi. This is my partner in crime, Financial Navigator. Financial Navigator, tell him a bit about yourself, mate.
So the reason we wanted to do this video was to give you guys some context to who we are, our background, and why we are doing what we do now. Because I think a lot of podcasts out there, the ones I've watched, I never really see anything about them or where they've come from or what they're aiming for. So I wanted to go through why we waffle. I'll start with my side. So going back to school now, so that's probably 8 years ago, something like that. Doesn't sound like a very long time.
That was only the other day. I've got socks older than that.
Only the other day. But at school, I was never really academic. I just scraped with C's. My best performing classes were anything that was visually orientated, i.e. like DT, carpentry, maths, because you could draw like on a chalkboard or on your paper how to work out the equations and whatnot. Was in the special classes because I'm dyslexic as well. So I never really had it easy per se. But coming out of school, obviously I did what every other kid did and didn't know what to do. So I just went for, was it resistant materials and this engineering something at sixth form. So I knew one thing for sure, and that wasn't, I did not want to go to uni. I did not want to go to uni. And the pure fact I didn't want to go to uni because I didn't want to be in debt of like 30, 40K. Like there was no way I wanted to come out of uni and be like, right, okay, I've now got to get a job to pay that off. Obviously, I know there is a point in time where actually if you don't actually have to pay that off effectively.
Well, I think they chase you for the rest of your life, actually.
No, they don't. I spoke to many people and they're like, yeah, they stopped contacting me after about a year or two.
Oh no, they still contact me.
Well, anyway, maybe
they
you've
want their
done
money.
something wrong and these guys haven't. But anyway, I knew I didn't want to do uni, so I went to sixth form, then dropped out of that after a year. Tried all the trades, so plumbing, didn't like that because it was toilets. Carpentry, wasn't a massive fan of that. Window glazing as well. Then did electrics. It was pretty straightforward. Cable in here, cable in here. It pays well, quite easy to do. Little did I know, 2 years in, the theory side of it was just like, wow, like way too much for my tiny little head at the time. Anyway, stuck with that. Apprenticeship should have been 4 years, ended up being like 6 due to COVID. Qualified 2 years ago now, I believe, or 1.5 years ago. And then over that 2020 period of COVID, and that's kind of the reason why I am where I am now, is I was sat in college on my phone. This is just before we had the lockdown in March, so probably, I want to say 2-3 weeks before. And I come across stocks on my Revolut app. And obviously at the age, I must have been about 2020. So what's that? I would have been about 21, 22.
Yeah, about 20.
Something like that, 2021. As a 20-year-old, I do what every kid probably does now at 18, 20, 23, wants to trade or wants to make fast, quick money. And little do you know, there is actually no such thing as fast, quick money unless you get really, really lucky on something. So I went down that route, paid for like signals, pips, channels, all that stuff. Found some really good ones which actually made money, but at the time, obviously being an apprentice earning £5 an hour, whatever it was, you never really make enough. So yes, it was nice having an extra 50 quid at the end of the month or whatever it was, but I could never get my account to a reasonable size to do it. So sitting in college, come across Tesla on my phone, like on a Revolut bank, because I didn't realize you could own stocks on there. And I thought, oh yeah, I'll have a bit of that. Like just threw some money in, knew kind of how it worked. I thought, yeah, I'll just buy them. Then on the same app, I saw crypto. I saw this thing called Bitcoin. I was like, yeah, I'll have a bit of that. And I was looking back a while ago, my first transactions were like, I want to say it's £6,000 in March 2020, just before the lockdown. And obviously at the time, just prior to lockdown, or when we locked down, I didn't understand from a macro point of view what was happening, i.e. they printed a shitload of money. So I'm just seeing my account like ratchet up Like, I've only put a couple of $100 at this point, and then it's like doubled within a week, and I'm like, holy shit, you have some more. Like, I did whatever every irresponsible 20-year-old would do and just throw money at it because it was doing its thing. And just to check it was legit, I'd sell it to go back in again just to make sure I could still do it. But yeah, just kept doing it, throwing it in, and then when you make a decent, or when I made it because I didn't sell it, but when you see your portfolio ratchet up so quickly, so fast, including Tesla, it wasn't just Bitcoin, and some other stocks that I bought, you're like, holy shit. Like, why am I at college? Why am I working 60, 70 hours a week doing all the overtime I can at 21, 22, just to try and afford a deposit, or what is seen as the normal way of doing things in the UK, get a deposit, get a house, settle down, blah, 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 when I can sit on my phone and research stuff and hit stuff early and then obviously do it. Obviously, you have to have capital to start. So, and fast forward to where I am now, I'm hopefully at the point by the end of or by this time, by the end of the year, at some point, I should be quitting my 9 to 5. So leaving that in the past, and then hopefully doing the crypto stuff all as a full-time thing, or the consulting side of things. Because as we've progressed, or as I've progressed, I put myself out in front of a lot of people, went out to like meetups, Real Vision events. There was a community that I went to meet up before, then started organizing my own meetups, putting out feelers, messaging people. I then messaged people on Instagram. That's how I come across Crypto C. Like, had I not reached out to him, I'm sure he can get the texts up in a minute when he does his explanation. But I reached out to him a while ago, and we kind of just hit it off from there. Had I not reached out to him, we probably wouldn't be here now recording at all. There would be no Crypto Waffle. There would be no Lex Consulting, and it would just be him coding and building stuff, and me trying to still come out of the 9 to 5. So that's kind of how I got to where I am. But the reason why I waffle, so when you're in school, they do not teach you about finances at all. Like, there is nothing. Obviously, in maths, they give you the simple, oh, this is how you work, how much your bills are, or blah, blah, blah. But they don't teach you how mortgages work. They don't teach you about interest rates. They don't teach you about anything that you need to know effectively in life, when it comes to the finance side anyway. So obviously, coming out of school, I found it upon myself to learn. I started looking at my net worth, or what is a net worth, Googling and stuff. At the time, there was no ChatGPT, so it was the old school way of doing it. Just Googling, see what happens, or YouTubing how to work out your net worth, or whatever it was at the time. So I went down that path, then had very strict budgets for myself. So I'd work out what my average take home was, what I have to spend monthly on car insurance, phone, rent, all that sort of stuff. And then what I was left, and then at the time, was to invest. So quickly worked that out, stuck myself to a very strict way of doing it, and invested that amount monthly. And I've still been doing it effectively until recently. We just stopped, but I was pretty much doing it every month, regardless. And then you obviously talk to your friends about it. Some of them listen, some of them don't. And you have to start at the very beginning. Like, what are you earning? What are you paying out? What have you got left? Because realistically, anyone that has to invest needs spare capital. Like, you can't invest when you're needing all the capital you earn to live effectively. So there has to be some sort of spare funds to do anything with. And that's when I started my page. I thought, well, no one knows about this stuff. There's not a lot of finance content out there, or that's simple, I believe, for your average Joe, or what I'd call cash or average Joe, not being mean or anything. But there wasn't any basic knowledge of it. So I started making posts. So if you go to my Instagram and you scroll to the very bottom, you will see all the posts I started with. They were like best bank accounts, so do bank account switching, how to budget, how to calculate your net worth, all sorts of things to go through. I started doing those posts, and that was just a passion thing. And I'd get home from work, and I'd probably spend 3 days, because I was dyslexic. I'd get my family and friends around me to proofread it, because in my head it sounded great. In theirs, it looked horrific. So thankfully, we've now got ChatGPT to speed that process up. But that was how I had to do it. And it'd take me days to make one of those simple posts that someone may be reading in a couple of minutes. And as obviously I've evolved and I've learned, my page has come, I believe, with better content as I've gone along. And I have received, since I've been doing this, which is now, 4 years, near enough, I've received 2 messages, random messages. I don't know who they are or where they are or what they do, but I've received 2 messages. And one of the messages was a while ago, like this guy reached out to me, and this was like back in 2023, talking about which are the best memes, like blah, blah, blah. And I gave him a few. I gave him like Doge, Shib, Pepe. Like at the time, maybe the big ones, the safest ones. And then 4, 5, 6 months later, something like that, I got a message from him saying, "Thank you so much for telling me about Shib. Like you've changed my life." And that was it. Like, I've never heard anything since. But that one message that I had all the time ago is why I've continued. Obviously, I could sit here behind the screen and not record anything and just do what I do, and I don't need to share it, and I'm sure I would be fine. But there isn't that out there to teach people. And the second message I actually had today, which I was just telling Crypto C before we actually recorded, is this guy reached out and just said, "By the way, great content in the channel, like great content on the Instagram." And although thousands of people probably read it, and I might get the odd like or the odd comment, it's nice having that personal message come in, and that's what keeps you going. And I know there are people out there that probably haven't messaged me that I may have helped or may have made them some money somewhere. And that is why I continue to do what I'm doing now effectively. And this is why we've started Crypto Waffle VIP. Like we charge 20 quid a month or $20 wherever you are in the world, £20 a month. And we can put everything anyone wants in there. Like if you're in the VIP lounge and you're not sure even how to budget, like you might be that entry level, we will sit down with you and we will talk you through how to budget, or we can give you a post how to make your budget. Like it's that easy with us, like because we're still a small, I don't want to say company, but a small project, if you want to put it like that.
Small outfit, I'd say.
Yeah, small outfit. We can still give a very personalized service, and I don't want to be the next big crypto influencer, being the guy on the front cover going Bitcoin's going to zero with like some mad graphic pointing down or whatever it is. But whilst we're small, I will do as much as I can to help as many people as possible. And going forward, I will still continue to do that. I don't plan on getting too much bigger. It's the same with like Lex, with like small, consistent client base, and that is it. Like we're not looking to be the fucking next best thing out there. Like we know there are going to be people better than us. We know we're top tier as it is. We don't need everyone else. We can just be us. But that's how it started. I'm excited for where this is going. We're on episode 32 of Crypto Waffle now.
Yeah.
We've probably got, I mean, as of Lex, we've probably got 3-4 clients.
Yeah.
And then from my side, well, actually in the chat, we've got 17 because I had clients beforehand. So you could say we've got 17 clients of Lex now. We're getting there, which is good. Numbers are going up, and we are keeping it kind of word of mouth. We don't advertise this stuff because we like to keep it small, close. And actually, rather than calling them clients, I was having a lot of catch-ups this week with them. I would actually now class most of them as friends because we talk on such a regular basis. You get to know, even though I've only met a handful of them in real life, like maybe 5 or 6, but you get a gist of who they are as a person. And I think it makes a great connection. So rather than referring to them as clients, I'd say friends, which I think is a lot better. But that's kind of me. I don't know if I've missed anything out. Have I missed anything out at all?
No, I don't think so. I think you covered pretty much everything. You haven't said, I guess what would be interested is what is crypto to you? Do you see it as, are you in it for the freedom?
So,
are you in it to make money? What's the...
No, good question. So the reason I got into crypto, obviously at the time, you make a bit of money. Like at the time, as I just mentioned, it made me a bit of money. I was like, wow. And then I was like, well, I can make money on my phone. Why am I doing what I'm doing? And once you get into it, and once you unpack or learn the macro side of things, i.e. what money is, how money works, what they're currently doing with money, it becomes a much bigger picture. It's not just, oh, I can buy Bitcoin, make a bit of money and get back into pounds. Like part of my portfolio now is my pension. Like at the moment, I don't pay a pension here in the UK. Bitcoin is my pension. If Bitcoin is going to be what it's going to be, then that's that. So for me, it's also purchasing power protection because, and obviously, as people may not know, but if you learn, you'll know that our purchasing power in the pound, euro, or dollar is continuously being devalued over time, which is why we see so many people now struggling to just live, quite frankly, no matter where you are in the world. And it's why you might see a lot of people from Europe, UK, and US going further abroad, South America, Asia, because it's so much cheaper for them to live out there. Like where it's becoming so expensive here in the UK, well, for us specifically, a lot of people are looking to move abroad because it's just getting to silly levels. Like I went to Leon the other night on the way home from the Real Vision event. I spent £32.
What, on how many people?
Just me. I had a water, a can of like some lemon drink, a pot of side chicken, a chicken and rice, and I think some chicken nuggets, and that was it. Or their chicken poppers, whatever you want to call it. 32 quid. I was like, that is nuts. I've nearly spent £100 just on food,
just on a meal
alone. Yeah, and that's just a quick takeaway.
Yeah.
I didn't even get a sit at a fancy restaurant to that. I sat standing on London Bridge Station.
Yeah.
So, but no, the reason I'm in there, yes, obviously the money is a benefit of it. It's a lot of people say they don't do it for the money, but without the money that comes from it, you wouldn't be able to do what we do, i.e. now. Like, I've now got the expertise to now help people and consult people on how I would do things if I were them. I've now got the expertise to help people come from no portfolio to six-figure portfolio in 4 years. Like, and it's nice seeing the little wins. So like a couple of clients will come in with $5,000 or whatever it is. A couple of years down the line, they're sitting at 30, 40, whatever it is. Even though it might not sound like a lot, to them, that is a lot of money. And that will help out a lot. Like some of them are saving for house deposits, all sorts of things. So I do it. One, yes, the money's a benefit. And I'm not going to say I don't do it for the money because it's one of the reasons we're in here and we can actually live is because of that. That's a nice benefit of it. But the two, for me, really, it's helping people because I never had anyone to teach me all of this. And God, if I had someone to teach me all this, I'd be all over them like a rash. They'd probably want to get rid of me. So I just feel like because there's no one else there to do it, I may as well fill that gap. And a lot of the time now, no one gets anything that I would class as personalized. It's a broad overview of how they could help. Like if you buy a package deal, it's a PDF of how they or she thinks that they can help you as a broad person. Whereas and this is the thing with investing investing in general, no matter what the asset is, it's everybody's situation is completely different. Like everybody's risk tolerance is different. Everybody's amount of money they start with is completely different. Everyone's background is completely different. So investing, I think, should be more of a personal thing, if I'm honest. And which is why I quite enjoy doing what we do at Lex, working with people one-to-one, because there's not a single Lex client that has the same portfolio as the other.
No,
like everybody is different.
Yeah.
So that's why I enjoy it. Obviously, there's benefits of it. And it's those little wins, getting messages from people. It's seeing clients get all happy after they've done something. Like we had one the other day, she started just tracking it and seeing her portfolio up and down. And she was over the moon. Those little things and seeing them go, thank you so much for making me some money. Like in some Telegram groups as well, or Sims community group, some people bought some syrup when I put it in there. They've made some money. Like, thank you, Alex, so much for putting me onto it. It's just those little things and they all add up. Obviously, the money is in there as well. But without money, unfortunately, you can't actually do much in this world, i.e. if you wanted to provide for your family or girlfriends or go on holiday or buy a house, all that. Yes, a lot of people say you can live without money. You can, but I would realistically like to have a brick house and not be in the woods building it with sticks. So that's me, and I'll hand over to you, Crypto C. How did you start?
Right, so I guess my journey was almost the polar opposite to yours. So I started off, I was very good at school. I went to uni. I could sit down and read stuff, and I had nothing, no headwinds in that direction at all. Went to uni, finished uni, done computer science, internet applications, went and cracked on with life. And then in around 2012, I found, I didn't find, but I started to use Linux. Now, Linux is an open source operating system, and it is better than Windows. It's arguably better than Mac OS. So I came to this notion that, wait, hold on a minute, if people all work together and all code together, then what they code together and give out for free is better than what Microsoft charge $200 for. So I was like, wow, light bulb moment, open source software for the win. So everything in my life was like open source software for like this period of 2 or 3 months. And that's when I found Bitcoin. They were like, oh, you like open source software, do you? How about open source money?
Was that a bunch of friends at the uni that was telling you that?
No, this
Or?
was just people online. So I'm just an
Oh, right, okay.
online typing guy, like, hey guys. So they're like, you need to go and check out Bitcoin. It's amazing, blah, blah, blah. So I've gone and I've looked at this Bitcoin stuff, and I'm like, wow, this is like Napster, but for money. So I'm like, no one can stop this because the ledger is decentralized. So this is huge. So I'm like, right, dropping everything I'm doing, and I'm doing crypto. So I've learnt about crypto, like in a technical sense. I've also come to understand in that time around 2012, it was more like freedom tech. So it wasn't like, there weren't the people coming in and doing charts. There weren't the finance bros. There weren't all these people who were so money oriented. It was mostly like people who lived in squats and were just into their crypto, and they were like hackers and that sort of stuff. And they were vegans and they wanted wars to end and all that. So they were like, right, we want Bitcoin, not bombs. And that was the whole narrative at that time. And it wasn't a massive community. And for me, it was brilliant. It was like, it was perfect. So we learned. The first project that I really got interested in was a project called Dash, away from Bitcoin. And Dash was the first ever masternode project, which is where I started to learn about DAOs. I don't even believe they were called DAOs at the time. Then Ethereum comes along, and I've put on my Facebook that your dangerous word for today is Ethereum. Everybody should care about it. And obviously everybody thought I was nuts. And Ethereum,
What is he chatting about?
yeah, what's he chatting about? This guy, he's always talking this stupid internet funny money. And I was that weird guy. Ethereum was at $1 for ages. I remember it. Then it shot to $10. I thought, I've missed the boat here. Got a little bit. The rest was history. And then left Dash and actually started working on a project, joined a
So
project.
did you actually work at Dash?
No, at Dash I was just a community guy. So I was just
Right,
watching
okay.
and learning, and I would talk to the community members. I was understanding how the infrastructure worked. I understand how the masternodes worked, how the hosting worked, how the network worked, how the masternode layer worked, how the coins came into existence, how they came out of existence, how they were mixed, all of those things. I was just learning. Almost like a full-time job. Then I left and we joined PivX. A bunch of people from Dash left and joined and started PivX. PivX became a massive project. It went up to like $750 million. It was number 9 in coin market cap. So the equivalent of today's projects, I guess it would be like a...
Hyperliquid, I think.
No, bigger than that. Hyperliquid isn't number 9, is it?
Sorry, Doge is ninth.
So it was as big as Doge is now. So at one point we were a
And
big
this was
deal.
when? Back in 2017?
This is 2017, yeah. So we was a big deal at that point. It was a privacy project. So in those days, it was the banks and governments were very much against crypto, and in particular, very much against privacy projects. PivX itself was the leading privacy project. It was built on tech that was so new, it was barely finished. In the end, it ended up getting broken. But they fixed it. The project's still going, but I left the project in 2020.
And
After
you
that,
officially worked for them, did you?
I officially worked there,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
So I officially had a role there. I was the governance guru. So I was in charge of trying to make the governance better. Over the period of time, I never got to make the governance better. So effectively, I failed at my job, but made some money along the way, made some friends, learnt a whole bunch. After that, I was out on my own. This is 2020. I was started Smart Reach, so I was making my own videos and stuff, but I was never making real beginner content. It was always a little bit higher level, so it was never like, I don't know,
Entry level stuff.
Yeah, it was never entry level stuff. I'd interview projects, I'd interview developers, really ask them some questions, really get to learn about things like signature schemes and different privacy protocols and different types of cryptography, all those sorts of things, which to me were really interesting, still are. And done all of that. And then in 2024, this guy messages me on...
I think it was earlier than that.
No,
That was 2024.
January 2024. This guy messages me on Instagram, and he and I may as well share my screen.
Yeah, go for it. I think I forgot to mention. So the reason why I did this is so some of these events I went to or was organising, the people that I spoke to, there were hedge fund managers. There were some people that worked in the Parliament talking about crypto regulation, and all of these people, their consistent message was, put yourself out there, reach out to people, attend events, talk to people, socialise effectively, and that's kind of what I did. I sent off a load of messages on Instagram. Crypto C was one of the lucky ones that received it.
I was one of the lucky, and it's funny because I said to you, you said, did I read the whole thing? And I've looked at it now, and I said to you, if I replied in one word, like if my reply was short, I've not read it. So I probably just read this part, and I thought, oh, look, our crypto sits, blah, 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 thanks for your time. And I thought, all right, well, I'll reply. I must have read it, actually, because I said when I was in it since. And then we just got to chatting. I think we had a call, and I think the call lasted like 2 hours, and we were just...
Yeah, that was when you first put me on Xano.
Right, at like $3.
Well. Yeah.
So that's so why am I in crypto? The money is a byproduct. I'm not really that fussed about the money. It sounds so like...
Do you think you were at the start though? Like starting off?
No, I wasn't. I always knew that it would make money. But I had this thought in my mind that by the time I got old enough to leave it for my child, Bitcoin would be at like $10,000 or something. That's what I thought. So I didn't think the rise would have been this.
So it superseded your expectations
by a long way. By a long, long way. I thought, oh, it will happen. But in those days, everywhere had kind of outlawed it. And I thought they'll never make this thing legal. They won't, because nobody will use dollars anymore. Everybody will be like, well, wait a minute. Why are we wasting our time with dollars? Dollars are clearly a scam coin. And we used to make this joke. If you released the dollar and you said what it is, right, there's no limited supply. We can print as much of it whenever we want. You can hold it, but we can kind of take it off you anytime you want. You can only really hold it in banks. If you hold it in notes, we're going to change the notes. And yeah, eventually have to come to the bank every, 30 or 40 years. People would be like, that's a scam. That is literally a scam. Nobody would buy that coin. They'd be like, this is terrible. And we used to laugh about that. And we always thought that for that reason, like they would never let crypto become legal. Fast forward 15 years and here we are. And crypto is very much seen as legal.
Proper asset class now, isn't it?
Proper asset class. So yeah, so that's why I got into it. I'm in it for the tech first and foremost. Why we do the podcast, or why I do the podcast, is because it's good for me to talk. It's good to get these ideas out. It's good to bounce ideas off of people. So, and that's why we called it Crypto Waffle, because we do spend a lot of time just bouncing ideas off each other. We have
waffling.
different like views on how things should be. We have different skill sets. So you're much more into charts and those sorts of things, which for a long time I was just like, well, they don't really show anything. But now I understand that if they don't show the direction, they show the distance. So you'll have a better idea of how aggressive the move will be in one direction or another, rather than just plain guessing, which is a powerful tool to have. And yeah, I just enjoy it. It's just good fun. Doing Lex as well is just good fun. We've got, luckily, I would say, probably the best clients anyone could ever ask for. Like with all of them are great. They have their moments where they're human.
It's a therapy session.
Yeah, they have their moments when they're human, but then at the same time, watching people develop is great. And I feel like we're developing at the same time because we're being challenged. Some people will say, why are you doing this? And then we have to say, well, because of this, and this. And that gives us a chance to say, well, is that a good idea, really? We get a chance to challenge our own ideas. I may say something's a good idea. You may say, well, have you thought about this or have you thought about that? So that's the reason why we do it. That's why I think it's definitely useful for us. And hopefully we continue to do this for years and years to come.
I'm sure we will. I don't see why we wouldn't. As long as crypto's a thing, we'll be a thing.
So what do we cover in our crypto waffles?
So normally, and I was explaining this to a lot of the guys at the RV event. They were like, "So what is Crypto Waffle?" I was like, "Look, it's a crypto podcast," and they would say, "Oh, it's just another one of them." I'm like, "Well, no, not really. It's a very laid back podcast. It's not like it's scripted. We're not reading from scripts. We come up with three topics to discuss. Usually, we go on a tandem and come off them anyway. So not that those topics actually make sense, but we normally post like an advertising post saying what we're going to discuss. We discuss them and we talk everything crypto. So I might throw some charts up. I might throw some reports up if there's been new reports that have come out and go over the macro side of things. You will talk us through any hacks that have happened or how they've happened, how they've maybe have been, how it worked. And if it's a big deal or not, effectively, you think it's a project ender. So this is why I think it works really well because you've got the inside knowledge of how all these underlying technologies work, whereas I can look at the chart and use wizardry lines and be like, right, yeah, that looks good. No, that looks trash. So it's a laid back thing. We're not too serious about it. I mean, we've just started doing monthly AMAs for the Crypto Waffle community. So we do that over on our Telegram, where we will send the link out, and I think it's up to 30 people can join live, and then there's an audience in the background that can just watch. So the first it's a first come first serve basis where you can ask your questions effectively. So we will just take questions from the first 30 that get into the room. But yeah, we started doing that, which I think is really beneficial. I post a lot of content that I read, whether it's from X or YouTube or anything that's free and available. I will post that into the Waffle Lite, where it's literally just a link. And some people might look at it and click on it and go, well, what the fuck does this mean? And nowadays, there's no excuse to say, what does this mean, and not try and understand it, because you can literally just plug that link into ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever LLM it is and be like, explain this to me like I'm 10. So people can pick up or learn about things that I'm learning about. So if I've seen a good video that I think, okay, yeah, the community could benefit from this, or at least someone could benefit from this, I'll throw it in the chat. There'll be a couple of things that I'll put in and be like must watch, because it'll, from my point of view, it might be like a big macro setup, or it could be something else. And if I've got reports, like Coinbase reports, I'll put them in, and then I'll put a breakdown in there as well. So we put all of that in there. We put all of that out there. We took some good gems out there as well, or what we think are good gems. It'd be good to see where they are towards the end of the cycle, see what's performed. We've hit some nice ones already. Obviously, we do the live trading on there as well. So just for a bit of fun, we threw $100 into a perps account, perpetual futures account, and just do a little bit of leverage trading, just so people that can watch that happen as well. So we kind of include a bit of everything. But yeah, I think it's good. We seem to be picking it up nice and slowly. We're getting the views. We're getting some followers now. I mean, the Telegram group's at over 100. Shout out to Sim for that, because I think the majority of his community is from there. And we really appreciate you guys coming over. And thank you, Sim, for allowing us to post our content in your groups. But yeah, other than that, it's just laid back. It's not like in your face. Like we put these massive things like going, Bitcoin's going to zero or whatever it is. Like we don't do any of those like big dragging things where everyone's going, what the hell's you on about? Better click on it now. Like these big phishing posts that people put out or the influencers put out.
Yeah.
But I mean, if there's anything you think we can improve on as well, let us know.
But we do seem to be adding new sections to Crypto Waffle every like
Yeah,
month or so. Like we'll have an idea, oh, let's do this, and then we'll add
yeah,
it. Like we've said recently that we're probably going to start to bring back tutorials where maybe
yeah.
we might run through actually doing stuff every once in a while. I did want to say shout out to Sim as well. So big up yourself, Sim. So thank you for letting us come and
Yeah,
join your community.
and
And
have we had Sim on as a guest yet?
he needs to come on soon.
Yeah,
By the
we
time
still
people
need to
see
get him on as a
this,
guest because we also have guests.
yes, we have
So we have guests. How many guests have we had now?
two
Four.
so far.
Oh, we've only had two.
We've had two so
I don't know
far.
why. I thought we had four.
We've had two so far, and we've got one lined up, and
Yeah,
hopefully two lined up.
yeah.
But
Well,
we're
this is
hoping to get one every month.
this is being recorded on the 20th of June, and we have got guests coming on Crypto Waffle this Monday, coming the 23rd.
Yeah,
So if you're watching this, you'd have watched this before the guest comes on, so they will be our third guest. But yeah, getting guests on as well, I think, is a great thing. It gives people broader perspectives.
yes, yeah. Because I guess what people, as you watch more and more, you'll get to know us two as characters, and
Yeah.
sometimes it's good to have a third character. So us two as characters, I'm the risk on permabull. Let's whack it all on me.
Well, I think in the general public side, we're probably both very risk on.
Well, compared to general public, but in the
Yeah,
crypto world, although you are the younger of the team, you are the more sensible. You're the more level-headed. You're
yeah.
take profit, Cryptosi, take profit, and I'm like, no, I'm round tripping this one as well. I'm riding this to the moon.
But I think it's because of the PTSD from last cycle, which is why I'm like that.
Yeah,
It's riding it all the way up, not selling, and having nothing to show for it on the way down.
yeah.
And then having to sacrifice 75% of my salary every month for 8 months just to stack. Like, that's
Well,
why I'm now so obsessed with now trimming as I
inter-
go.
Yeah, yeah. So that's how we work together, and we are different trains of thought. So when we bring on guests, it's nice to have like a third point of view for us to bounce ideas off. But finally, before we wrap up, what do you feel, or where do you want to take Crypto Waffle in the future? What sorts of things would you like to do? Meetups, things like that?
Oh yeah, definitely. We've already talked about the possibility of having meetups. Like, if and when we travel around the world, no matter where we go, it would be good to just reach out to the community and go, oh, is anyone in Spain? Oh, is anyone in Brazil? Is anyone in America? Is anyone in Canada? Wherever they may be in the world, where else we're traveling? And be like, anyone fancy a meetup?
Yeah,
Because I met some of the Sims community members at the Real Vision event. It was great to put some faces, some names. I'm actually meeting some more of them in London next week on Friday. Because in this space, or within the crypto community, I'd like to say that meeting people in the flesh is sometimes a lot better than just via Zoom. I
yeah,
mean, obviously, me and you have done, well, probably hundreds of calls before we actually met in person.
yeah.
But now we've met in person, and it's like we've known each other for God knows how long.
For years and years.
So, yeah, I think in-person meetups is definitely a thing. Maybe even like some sort of presentations at some point. Like, you'd hire out a venue and you could do a talk on something,
Yeah,
whatever that something may be.
yeah,
I think putting out a lot of like free content as well, i.e. like how to budget, simple stuff, like how to get people into finance. I think that would be really good. So definitely do them. Obviously, we're still, Lex and Crypto Waffle are still very new. So we're still kind of building, I wouldn't say building out the front end, but still getting stuff sorted
yeah.
for them. I'd like to have merch down the line. Like, it would be absolutely class to see someone wandering around in London in a Crypto Waffle hat or a t-shirt.
Oh, mate, can you imagine?
Like, can you imagine? I'd imagine the scenes if I'm just walking down the street and I see someone wearing it. I think I'd just start crying of excitement, to be
Yeah.
honest.
I know you'll video call me immediately.
Oh yeah, straight away. I'll be
Look
like,
at me.
I'm going to follow this bloke, but any minute you're going to see it. And we'll be like, oh hi mate, can I just see your top? There it is. So I think merch would be good. Maybe I'll tell you what, maybe even a book. Now,
Okay.
this is really unlike me because in school, the only books I ever finished was like Biff and Chip and maybe Captain Underpants. Other than that, I hated reading, like, hated it. Literally the worst thing. I'd throw tantrums with my parents about trying to get me to read for homework and all that sort of stuff. So maybe even some sort of book. down the line. Like that only crossed my mind probably a month or two ago. It's like, Christ, you're thinking about a book. You have changed.
Yeah.
So I think that would be quite cool.
A book on something like how to handle the bear market.
Yeah, because I mean that's another thing. Like, that's one thing. I think a guide on the emotional side of investing that no one, I mean, not that no one talks about, but a lot of people kind of dismiss.
Yeah, they
They
don't.
walk into investing thinking, oh, yeah, it's going to be easy and we make some money. But they don't talk about the emotions of making money and losing money.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people, and sadly, money is everyone's emotionally attached to money. Whether they like to say they are or they're not, if they have a big loss, there's probably going to be some tears or frustration shed somewhere, even if it's not in plain sight.
Someone will get shouted at for no reason.
Yeah, for no reasons. But I think, yeah, something like that. And then more, I just like to keep it consistent. Like the main thing for me is being consistent with it and keeping it going for a period of time. Like, there might be one point at one day, no matter what that scenario is, where we might have to make the video of, right, guys, sadly, we're having to shut this down just because of where we are.
No.
But
No.
I don't. We're nowhere near that yet.
No.
We've got years left, like many years.
Have we missed a Monday yet?
No, because normally I'll do a solo session or you'll do a solo session if one of us isn't available.
And I
But yeah,
think
I'd like to keep it consistent.
I think we've only done 2 solo sessions. I think I've done one and you've done one.
Yeah, and then we did a re-recording of my second one, just because of.
I think you cut
I don't
out.
think the recording was very good.
Yeah. So in all of our time, I think we've done maybe somewhere between 6 to 9 months, maybe by now.
Yeah, I think we started in November, December last year.
Okay, so 7 or 8 months, and
October.
we've had 2 solo shows.
Yeah,
So other than that, we've been the kings of consistency.
yeah.
Every Monday, 6 p.m.
Yeah, the main thing for me is just keeping it consistent and doing more community things. Because obviously going into a digital age as well, like where more things now with AI and that's going to become digitized, I think having the community like in person
Yeah,
is going to be a massive benefit,
yeah.
like massive benefit.
I agree.
Because like, going back to like me leaving my job, I'm also thinking now like I need to invest in some sort of small scale electrical firm or something like plumbers, whatever it is, because there is no way AI in the next 10 years or so is going to be doing what I do as an electrician. Like, it's just not happening. There's no way they're going to go to that light switch, pull it out, put a cable back in loose, and then zip it back up again. Like, it sounds simple.
I don't know. I've seen some robots in China that have been
Yeah,
walking
I've seen
around
some,
dancing.
but I think it's more the infrastructure stuff. Like in the UK, to do a lot of this, if it's going to be a lot of plug and play, like which is where I see it going,
Yeah.
we need to knock down the whole UK and start again. Like we've still got buildings from what is it, like the 1700s.
Yeah.
The sewage system's still Victorian.
Yeah.
Like there needs to be a whole upgrade
Yeah.
to all of this stuff, I think, before we get to that. But yeah, I mean, is there anything else you think you'd like to do with Crypto Waffle?
No, I think we're doing it all really. I guess.
I think you're building a lot of things. Like you're building that. What's that thing you're building at the minute?
I'm building
The predictor.
Pump Minister. Yeah,
That's
I'm
it.
building that. I'm building Pump Minister. So that will give. So what I'm building is I've got right into this AI, as everybody from crypto has made that pivot to jump on the new shiny thing. So I'm well into my AI and all of that, and I'm trying to build tools. Well, I'm having fun building tools that our community will use. So members of our community that will pay the £20 per month, they will get an allocation of free credits to use on all the platforms that I build. The first one that I'm going to release will probably be a graphics tool that will allow you to make graphics in your own brand colors and in your own style as you set them and to the right size to fit the social media that you're making. So they'll get free credits for that every month. And the second one will more than likely be Pump Minister. I'm planning to do them one like each week, release one, because they're both finished. I just need to polish them.
Sweet.
Yeah, just a few few licks of paint here and there. So yeah, so that will allow our users to go online, put in an asset that they like, and get a prediction based on one of three methods for predicting the future price of stocks based on the past 60, 30 or 90 days. So that will be a nice tool for people to have. Obviously, it's just a prediction, so, you know,
Could be wrong.
don't blame me if it doesn't work. But as I've used the tool myself, I quite like it. I do think it's quite good fun, and it is quite useful. So there will be that, and then there'll be other things.
I'm sure as we go down the line, there'll be more things coming out.
We'll talk on Waffle, and you'll say something, and I'll be like, "Oh, that'll be a good idea. I should make that." And then off I go, and I'll go and make it. And I'm just putting all the infrastructure together so that we can have it all linked, all of our users be on one database. Hopefully, put that database on a particular blockchain that can hold that, and that we can quickly pull from with our website, just to make it more crypto-ish. So those are the things that we're building. So in the future, those are the things that we should be doing.
There'll be a lot more new things coming out.
Loads and loads.
There'll always be innovation here.
Yeah, we need a Netflix series and and a drum and bass album. See if we can get those two things.
I don't know about drum and bass. I cannot stand it.
All right, we'll do hip hop then.
We could do some sort of hip hop.
We'll do a hip hop album.
Yeah, I think that'd be good. Right, so until next time, guys, or on Monday actually, we'll see you on Crypto Waffle episode 30.
Don't forget, the website is cryptowaffle.fun. So you can go to the website. In the website, you'll be able to find all those things that we've spoken about. All the episodes are there. And there are links to the Telegram, the free Telegram, and the premium Telegram, where you can be insiders with us guys and have us at your beck and call 24 hours a day, sometimes maybe even 25.
Yeah. Well, I'll see you all on Monday. Episode 33, I believe. Hopefully on my channel this week.
Yes.
As the technical difficulties I believe are fixed.
Maybe even on Twitter also. Even on Twitter also. Let's see if we can get that fixed.
Let's see. So until next time, take care, everybody. Speak to you soon.